Hello YouTube, this is Morgan Airspeed Prime here with my next The Dawn of Yangchen chapter analysis video. This one's going to be for chapter 8, which is called The Proposition. So this is another short chapter, another 3-page chapter. It's more like kind of 3.5, 3 and a paragraph basically, but still quite short, highlighting that we have very much been sort of like 5 to 7 page chapter, 3-page chapter, 5 to 7 page, 3-page. That's been the format so far. So with this one, obviously, we are directly explaining what happened at the end of last chapter, which was obviously that, everyone you meet in Bin is in someone else's pocket. And for Yangchen, she's basically saying, Kavik, you are now in mine. So she wants him to run errands for her. And that's exactly what we discuss here. It's just literally just a direct conversation between Kavik and Yangchen. But they are on their own here. So a little bit more out in the open, telling the truth of the situation. So Kavik is pretty much straight off the bat kind of like, just, if you want to punish me, just get it over with. Like, stop doing this whole act effectively. But she says, no, I'm not turning you into anyone. This is a recruitment pitch. I want your skills to be put to use for a nobler cause. I'm the nobler cause. So there is that. We get the idea that, again, highlighting who he was working for so far is Qiu, who is a low rent broker. So she goes into explaining, like, Kavik asked the question, why would you want someone like me? In a way, why would an avatar need to hire a not super high-end person, effectively, to get information for them? Well, what's the deal here? You're the avatar. Sure, you have all the information in the world. So she really gets real with the situation that she is in, given that she is probably the most famous person in the world. And she just gets across the idea that to be an effective avatar, one needs to make informed decisions. Informed decisions require good information. And the information I get fed on a regular basis by my so-called advisors and companions is lacking. I may be the most watched and scrutinized person in the 4 nations. And she just gets across the idea that because she is the avatar, most of the people that are part of like the avatar group that goes around with her are people who were put there by, Fire Lord, Water Tribe Chiefs, Earth King. They're high up people put there effectively with the idea of like, oh, it's the nations helping Yangchen, and they probably are to a certain degree. But she points out that they are there effectively as spies for the nations about what the avatar is doing. So while they're telling her certain pieces of information so she can be an effective avatar, they're also reporting back more information directly about what Yangchen is up to than anything. And she points out that she's had decisions that she was about to make get leaked before she could even make them herself. So she really gets across the idea here. So while I do things, I am the avatar that people want, who's public, does all the ceremonies and stuff like that. But when out of sight, yes, I have to use spies and informants to get the real information so I can actually do the real things. And she points out that she does this with the help of a small number of associates who she knows are not compromised. So again, why, Kavik's like, why me? Why specifically me when you could effectively pick so many other people? And she points out that good candidates don't fall into my lap very often. You're from a comfortable family, not beholden to anyone by money or debt. You're too low level to be worth anyone's attention, but just skilled enough to be useful. And Kavik's like, wow, thanks for that wonderful compliment. But she's like, no, I'm not selling you short. I completely bought your act about not having a family. It's very rare these days that I can't tell someone is lying to my face. And you really do have moves. You would have gotten away from the guards if I hadn't personally intervened twice. So this retroactively tells us that the person who froze Kavik's foot in the ceiling when he went to escape was actually Yangchen, not the other random waterbender person. And then he was sucked back into the room. It's his confirmation for the first time here that was Yangchen. It wasn't like the guards who really were the ones who captured him. It was actually all Yangchen. So she's kind of praising the idea of like, you only got captured because an avatar captured you. So you are actually more skilled than you think you are. He asks, how many, do you have other people working for you? Not as many as I'd like. Normally I have to stick to close friends, those who owe me favors, and fanatic devotees to the Avatar. So she offers him the question, so what do you think? And he immediately responds with, no, thank you for the offer, but no, I appreciate the consideration. Nope. He just wants to get out of here, not be involved with the Avatar or anything like that anymore. And of course we understand to a certain degree. He doesn't want to do this because ultimately he has another goal that is the one thing he is still not telling Yangchen about, which is to get his brother back in some way. So he probably sees this as getting in the way of that. But Yangchen, of course, is going to try and really... she has to change a little bit here. And she's just like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to imply that you were that special of a case. You fit neatly into the category of owes me. I did save you from punishment for your serious crimes. Not every Avatar in history took attempted theft of intelligence as lightly as I did. And Kavik's like, you're going to blackmail me? And she's kind of like, I wouldn't really put it that way, but I'm giving you a chance to do some good here. Some very interesting stuff here. The Shang cities all get mentioned here. So the Shang cities, Bin-Er, John Dury, Taku, and Port Tugok are wellsprings of corruption and suffering. I need someone like you who knows this kind of environment to help me fix their problems. Think of doing exactly the same type of work you've been doing, only with me as your broker. So just to slightly explain those Shang cities a little bit more, Bin-Er is where we are here. We're in the north. This is the Northern Water Tribe, Shang City, basically. Port Tugok has already been mentioned before. That is the kind of Southern Water Tribe, Shang City. John Dury is the one that is more related to the Fire Nation. So it's more closer to the Fire Nation, of course. And then Taku is the place from the Blue Spirit that we've actually been to before. So this is sort of where the herbalist was hanging out. And it's, I suppose, is more the kind of central Earth Kingdom sort of Shang City style thing. So that's just highlighting that we now know the names of all of the different Shang cities. So she does say, okay, you're right. It's not fair for me to threaten you at a jail cell on this. So instead, she walks out of the room back into Kavik's parents and is like, I have an announcement to make. In recognition of his good heart and bravery, I have offered your son the chance to become one of my official companions, to stand by my side and help me keep the world in balance. And I love the way it's written here because, like, his parents are obviously very worried about the direction Kavik is heading in. So the Avatar basically saying, like, he was amazing. I am now offering him a role as a constant companion. Kavik's mother shrieked in joy. His father tried to say something, but he had to turn his face to hide the tears of pride gushing from his eyes. Companions of the Avatar went down in the annals of history. Their truant son was going to make greatness of himself. Their suffering hadn't been in vain. Truly, utterly, they'd been blessed tonight. And Yangchen then turns to Kavik and is like, oh, you're free to refuse if you really want to. My offer of companionship is legitimate. You can say no. And his parents are basically just crying with happiness. And Kavik is just like, it says here, with each ecstatic sob from his mother and father, another chunk of Kavik's spirit left his body. I hate you, he muttered. I'll let you sleep on it, the Avatar replied. And that's where the chapter ends, with just the idea of, like, she has effectively blackmailed him. So it's gone from being, I suppose, more proper blackmail to being more like, okay, I'll play your sort of parents' reaction into this as well. So Yangchen showing multiple ways that she's not just this, kind-hearted air nomad nun avatar, that, as you see over the course of this, she is very shrewd as well in terms of she understands the situation here and the need to have spies. She understands that people spy on her and has to accept that, but that she has to sort of counter spy to get the information that she needs. And to get the people that she wants, she's willing to kind of manipulate them a little bit. And it's just like, okay, this is what needs to be done. She's not being, like, I suppose, super mean here because, of course, like, she isn't aware that she's maybe getting in the way of Kavik doing this thing that she doesn't know about with Kalyan. But this is like, okay, this is a chance to do something. And obviously there's a few things that I haven't really discussed here, in that obviously this is now, he kind of can't refuse, otherwise he has to explain this amazing offer away to his parents somehow, when we know that his parents have sort of reluctantly accepted that Kalyan is gone, and that this is just the situation that they find themselves in. So in a way, there is really no counterpoint of why Kavik shouldn't say yes to this, and so he is going to be forced to say yes. But obviously this gives an option of like, he is now working for Yangchen. He's going to get a reward for that. What reward does he want? He can get an actual sort of official, like, legal reward here. What is he actually going to choose? In that, like, there's a sense where, like, if he just was open and honest, Yangchen could help get Kalyan back. And there's obviously things of, like, they talked about how passes out of the city are impossible to get. Well, suddenly that's open in a way with Yangchen needing to kind of pay Kavik for his services to a degree here. So really nice chapter, just the sort of alternate side of Yangchen, that this is her version in a way of doing what needs to be done. It's not taking people out like Kyoshi, but it's, you know, having to do these kind of underworld dealings a little bit. And again, just more of like her clever kind of manipulations here. It's using the whole idea of, you lied to me about your parents, I am now going to use your parents sort of against you to get the agreement here. But it also speaks to the idea she ultimately is impressed with his skill set, and I suppose from her little interactions with him, okay, it's not like perfect their dynamic, but they ultimately do seem to get along relatively well. Enough that, you know, Kavik is just kind of like, oh, I hate you. You just keep turning up and making me do things that I don't want to do. But okay, I'll go along with this. And it's very fun what's going on here. This is the main character dynamic in the book, and it is being done really, really well. So there are my thoughts on Chapter 8, The Proposition. In the comments, let me know what your thoughts are, but that has been the video. Thanks for watching, and bye.